Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to discuss here knockout mice. Now, before we study how knockout mice were prepared, I would like to tell you what is gene knockout. Okay, gene knockout or gene targeting. Now, the replacement of a particular gene in an organism by integrating a non-functional gene via genetic engineering process is called as gene knockout. So what we do actually in gene knockout, this is also known as targeted gene replacement. So as the word suggests, we replace the gene. As the word suggests, we replace the gene. Gene is replaced. Targeted gene replacement. We target one particular gene whose function we want to study. Okay, if you are interested in studying the function of a gene, what is the function of that gene? What we do is we target the gene and selectively we replace only that gene. And how do we replace that gene? The gene in the organism is replaced by integrating a non-functional gene. That means a functional gene is replaced by a non-functional gene. This replacement process, by virtue of which we remove a functional gene, replace it by non-functional gene, is called as gene knockout or gene targeting. Okay, or gene replacement. Now, the integration of the non-functional gene with the native functional gene of an organism is facilitated by homologous recombination. Now the question arises, how a functional gene is replaced by a non-functional gene? Okay, so integration of a non-functional gene with the native gene, okay, with the native gene of the organism is facilitated by homologous recombination. Now, in this process, it removes particular gene in the chromosomal DNA of an organism. We remove a particular gene in the chromosomal DNA of an organism. And when we remove one gene, we have to replace it by another gene. But the replacement gene is actually a non-functional gene. That means we have removed a functional gene. So naturally, we have removed one function from the gene. And that is why we call it gene knockout. We remove the functional gene, gene knockout. And if we have removed some gene, we replace it by a non-functional gene. And hence this method helps us to target a gene at the specific location on a chromosome. So we target one gene on the specific location and we remove it. This is known as gene targeting. Rather not removing, we replace it. The gene knockout is also called as knockout gene, the gene which is removed. Okay, gene knockout process is also called as targeting gene. Now, let us study knockout mouse. Gene knockout method, okay, was first developed by Mario Capecchi et al. Rather, we can say Mario Capecchi, Martin Evans, and Oliver Smithers in the year 1990 in mice. They were awarded with Nobel Prize for producing knockout mice, and they were awarded Nobel Prize in the year 2007 for this development. Now, transgenic mice carrying a knockout gene, transgenic mice carrying a knockout gene, that is a non-functional gene at a place of gene of interest are called as knockout mice. Okay, actually they are transgenic mice. That means they have some outside gene, okay, or a gene from other mice, or you can say gene from other organism. But what gene? At what cost? Their functional gene or the gene of interest or the functional gene of the mice is removed or replaced by non-functional gene. And hence the transgenic mice which carry the knockout gene, that is the non-functional gene, at the place of gene of interest are called as knockout mice. Now, gene knockout mice is developed in the following way. How do we develop knockout mouse now? What we do first is a particular mouse DNA is isolated from the genomic DNA library of mouse. Now, gene to be replaced. Which gene you want to replace? Which gene you want to remove, which function you want to remove. Okay, so the gene to be replaced is selected for this purpose. We select the gene which we want to replace. So a particular mouse DNA is isolated from genomic DNA library of mouse. Then the isolated mouse DNA may be up to 5 kb in size. It is thoroughly analyzed for the restriction sites, exon, intron, nucleotide sequence to have all information about the DNA. So we first isolate DNA of mouse from genomic DNA library. Okay. Now, the DNA which you have isolated may have a length of about 5 kb. We have to carefully study the whole DNA, right? From what are the exons present, what are the introns present, what are the restriction sites, what is the nucleotide sequence, all information is studied. Okay. The DNA of mouse that you have isolated from library contain the gene to be replaced. Okay. You've studied that isolated DNA. Now, the first exon, which is present at the 5' end of this mouse DNA is identified. The mouse DNA that you isolated from the genomic library. Of that DNA, what you identify first? The first exon, which is present at the 5' end. Now, the first exon that is present at the 5' end is treated with restriction enzyme. That means you can say the exon is cut with restriction enzyme. The moment you cut the exon, its function is destroyed. Okay, because exons are responsible for transcription and translation and hence producing a functional or a structural protein. But now what you do is you cut the first exon with restriction enzyme. And when you cut it, what you insert in its place? And a marker gene coding for thymidine kinase. What you add there? A marker gene coding for thymidine kinase or neomycin resistance gene coding for neomycin phosphotransferase. Okay, anyone. So the exon is cut with restriction enzyme and a marker gene coding for thymidine kinase along with small segment of mouse genome is inserted at the cut site. Okay, right. So you cut it. And at the cut site, what you do? You add a marker gene for thymidine kinase and a small segment of mouse genome is inserted in that place. You insert mouse genome only, but the gene is non-functional. Okay. Now the cloned DNA, this cloned DNA which you have put at the cut exon site disrupts the protein coding region exon of the original DNA. That is called as gene targeting DNA or okay, targeted DNA. The cloned DNA inserted into the exon at the cut site disrupts the protein coding function, disrupts the protein coding region exon of the original DNA, and that's called as gene targeting DNA. Now, this cloned DNA is introduced into the embryonic stem cells by means of calcium phosphate mediated transfection. The embryonic cells are actually collected. Embryonic stem cells are collected from the inner cell mass in the blastocyst and kept in balanced salt solution. Okay, so from the blastocyst or you can say blastula stage, you collect the embryo at blastula stage is selected, and from inside of the inner cell mass, you collect the embryonic stem cells. Okay, now the embryonic stem cells by means of they are treated with calcium phosphate, or rather you can say embryonic stem cells are kept in a solution containing calcium phosphate, and then in that solution you add the cloned DNA. Now what is this cloned DNA? This cloned DNA contains a mouse DNA where the first exon at 5' end is cut. That means the exon function is disrupted, and in the exon you have inserted a small segment of mouse DNA tagged with marker gene for thymidine kinase. Now, the targeting DNA is now introduced into embryonic stem cells. The targeted DNA gets integrated with particular gene on the chromosome of embryonic stem cell by homologous recombination. Okay, so when you at this cloned or targeted DNA, it gets integrated with a particular gene present on the chromosome of the embryonic stem cells by homologous region. Now, the flanking region on either side of the targeting DNA are homologous to the mouse chromosomal DNA. See, what we want to do is, in the embryonic stem cell itself, we are replacing one functional gene by a non-functional gene. So naturally, when you are putting a non-functional gene inside the chromosomal DNA, chromosome in an embryonic stem cell, there should be some identification regions. Okay, they should be identical. When the homologous recombination is taking place, the sequence should be identical, and hence mouse DNA is selected for this. We take the mouse DNA from gene library, cut the exon at 5' and insert the targeting gene, non-functional gene with a you can say marker gene like thymidine kinase gene, and now this cloned DNA, okay, targeting DNA is put or inserted inside the embryonic stem cells, where this you can say targeting DNA or a targeting DNA is non-functional DNA is going to replace a functional gene present in the chromosome of the embryonic stem cell. So how do it replaces the functional gene in the embryonic stem cell? By homologous recombination. And the flanking region on either side of the targeting DNA are homologous to the segment of mouse chromosomal DNA. Hence, homologous recombination take place between the vector DNA, that means the clone DNA, and the chromosomal DNA. So homologous recombination will take place. The original gene, okay, the original gene in the chromosome, functional gene, is replaced by what? By the cloned DNA containing the non-functional targeting gene. Thus, the targeting DNA replaces the specific gene on the chromosome, right? Now, the embryonic stem cells are grown in a medium. Okay, how do you identify the cells which have undergone recombination? The embryonic stem cells are grown in a medium lacking thymidine. The medium does not contain thymidine. The recombinant embryonic stem cells grow well in the medium. Why? Because of the presence of thymidine kinase enzyme. Okay. So embryonic stem cells are grown in a medium that does not contain thymidine. Only the recombinant embryonic stem cell grow because they have the presence of thymidine kinase gene, and hence they can produce thymidine kinase enzyme. Whereas untransformed cells die off. They do not grow in medium lacking thymidine. Now, the recombinant may have both homologous and heterologous recombination. We have to select homologous recombinants by performing DNA hybridization using Southern blotting after PCR amplification of the DNA. So first PCR amplification of the DNA is done, and then the cells which is showing homologous recombinants are selected by performing DNA hybridization using Southern blotting technique. Sometimes this Southern blotting and all is not done to identify. Randomly, we put that recombinant cells into the back into the blastula. Okay. Now, primer, which is complementary to exon 1, is used for PCR amplification of the DNA. Okay. The targeted DNA that you have prepared, okay, in vitro. That means DNA of mouse isolated from library containing the targeting DNA, that is containing the non-functional gene along with the marker gene, that is called as your targeting DNA. Now this targeting DNA is amplified, okay, by PCR. How? By using a primer complementary to exon 1, first exon at 5'. Okay, you amplify it, perform Southern blotting, DNA hybridization by Southern blotting, and identify the homologous recombinants. You may not do this step also. Okay. So gene targeting, what we do is here gene targeting for preparing the gene targeting DNA for knockout mice. The first step is preparing the gene targeting DNA. For that, DNA from DNA library. That means mouse DNA is isolated from mouse DNA library. Okay, so this is the DNA having first, second, third exon. So you identify the first exon, cut it with restriction enzyme. So use restriction enzyme and cut the first exon. That means you have disrupted the function of the protein producing function of the exon. Now, when you cut it, what do you put in its place? You put a targeting DNA. What is the targeting DNA? It is mouse gene, non-functional, of course, and with a thymidine kinase enzyme gene. Okay, so thymidine, instead of thymidine kinase enzyme gene, you can also take neomycin resistance gene. This is just for identification of the recombinants. Okay, you need to identify the recombinants. That's why you have a you can say marker gene. This is thymidine kinase gene. Okay, now this is called as targeting DNA. This is a cloned DNA now, right? So now you collect embryonic stem cells. Okay, the embryonic stem cells are collected from where? From the blastocyst, inner cell mass of the blastula. And these embryonic stem cells are kept in calcium phosphate solution. And they are mixed with the targeting DNA. They are mixed with the clone DNA and allowed to undergo transfection. Now you can see this is the chromosomal DNA of chromosome of recombinant, chromosome of embryonic stem cells. And now you have your targeting DNA is present inside. Now what will happen? Gene replacement process in embryonic stem cell by homologous recombination take place. So gene replaces. So we have just taken out the, elaborated this. This is the chromosomal DNA of what? 1 minute. This is the chromosomal DNA of embryonic stem cell. Now, the chromosomal DNA has a functional gene on it. Now, this is the targeting DNA. This targeting DNA has a non-functional gene. Okay, and the flanking regions are identical. The flanking regions present at the with the targeting gene, okay, has similarity with that of the chromosomal DNA because both are from mouse DNA. So now homologous recombination will take place. When homologous recombination takes place, the functional gene is replaced by a targeting gene. Okay, so the targeting gene gets inserted in place of functional gene. So chromosomal DNA after replacement of particular gene. So the functional gene is replaced and now the targeting gene, non-functional gene has come into the place. Is that clear? That is step number 2, replacing the gene. Replacing functional gene of embryonic stem cell by homologous recombination. Now, you have recombinant embryonic stem cells. Okay, now what do you do with these embryonic stem cells? What we do is the embryonic stem cells are first recombinant or homologous recombinants are identified. Okay, and then by hybridization. Okay, DNA hybridization, southern blotting, and then the recombinant embryonic stem cells are inserted inside the blastula. They are inserted inside the blastula by a micro injection needle. Okay, blastula stage. Now, these recombinant cells get implanted inside the blastula, right? Then blastula containing recombinant embryonic stem cells, right? Now, these embryonic stem cells are implanted in the uterus of the surrogate mother. Done? Now, so this surrogate mother gives birth to knockout mice, right? So the recombinant embryonic stem cells are then micro-injected into blastula stage. They are micro-injected into blastula stage mouse embryo. Right. The blastula containing embryonic stem cells are transplanted into the uterus of mother mouse, a surrogate mother. And the surrogate mother gives rise to knockout mouse siblings, which are deficient in the function of the gene, specific or a particular specific gene on the particular chromosome, which has been replaced by targeting gene or non-functional gene. Okay, so the knockout mice siblings are deficient in the function of the specific gene of the particular chromosome because it has been replaced by a non-functional gene. Sometimes the recombinant embryonic stem cells are directly implanted. We do not identify which are homologous or not. Okay, they're directly implanted into the mouse without screening using PCR amplification. And then the mouse siblings thus formed are allowed for mating. As a result, few homologous recombinants can be obtained from thousands of heterologous recombinants. Okay, so this way also it can be done. All right. What is the application of knockout mice? Why do we prepare all these knockout mice? Gene knockout mice are used as model mice. Gene knockout mice are model mice to study the function of the genes associated with the physiology and disease development. Okay, now we are here going to study when the functional gene is replaced What are the deficiency diseases? What are the diseases, genetic disease that can develop in the mouse? So they are actually model to study the function of the different gene associated with the physiology and disease development. So what are the functions of the gene can be studied. So they're going to serve as models. They help us to understand the genetic regulation of life processes in organism. Okay, genetic regulation, how genes are going to regulate the life processes. Knockout mice is used in the study of cancer genes and their expression in organism. They are also used in immunological researches, especially in the study of genetic response towards antigen. Okay, studying the genetic response towards antigen is also studied. Introduction of mutant collagen gene into mice genome produces knockout mice suffering from osteogenesis. Okay, so these are the models to study the human osteogenesis disease. Actually, model mice are going to study, actually knockout mice are going to serve as model mice to study different genetic disorders, different diseases, and how genetic regulation takes place and all, right? So if you replace a mutant collagen gene, okay, if you introduce a mutant collagen gene in mice, and it will produce knockout mice which suffer from osteogenesis. They are going to serve as model for studying human disease osteogenesis, right? Transgenic mice have also been used for human disease models to study AIDS, diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, etc. They are models. You study various, carry out various experimentation work on them. Drug effect of a drug. What is the effect of the disease on the physiology and all can be studied. They are used to understand gene regulation. They are used to understand molecular genetics of disease development, immunological response that can be developed in an individual, feasibility of drugs effective to treat human diseases and all. So what is the effect of a drug? Whether a drug can treat a particular disease or not, all can be studied using transgenic mice. Okay, knockout mice can help you to understand the gene regulation, molecular genetics of disease development, etc. So that is why we develop transgenic mouse, especially knockout mouse. So you can this one I have shown already. You DNA isolated from the library, mouse DNA cut with a restriction enzyme. The first exon is cut, and we put the targeting DNA, non-functional gene, with the you can say marker gene like thymidine kinase, and then transfection using calcium phosphate. So you take calcium phosphate, you put embryonic stem cells in it, TK mutant embryonic stem cells, right? Now the recombinant embryonic stem cells, because this is your targeting DNA, right? This targeting DNA by homologous recombination gets inserted inside the chromosomal DNA. Now this is a recombinant embryonic stem cells. You grow it in a medium containing thymidine kinase. Only the recombinants will grow. The recombinant stem cells with the help of micro-injection needle are implanted into the blastula, and this blastula containing recombinant embryonic stem cell is then implanted into the uterus of surrogate mother, which will give rise to knockout mice. Okay, so that is all with knockout mice.